So it's been a couple of weeks since I worked on the YAMATO. Well, I actually filmed a video for the YAMATO, but in between that time, I've actually, when I've been filming the weekly stages, I've been filming all the port side section. I have not touched the starboard side at all. So in between obviously the last video and now, I've continued to plank all the starboard side, and I've actually planked these 5 planks. They go on, obviously touch the bottom. And as we start to work his way down the hull, we start to get the gap starts to get smaller where it's not a full plank. So right on this end, when it goes up towards the bow, we've got a really tapered plank that starts about 4mm and works its way down to nothing. So in this week's video, so I'll just turn it around back to the port side. So I'll show you in this week's video, we're going to work on adding these 5 planks into this section, and then adding this really tapered plank. So I've just got this first plank to length. This is going to fit between bulkhead number 1 and bulkhead number 5. But this first plank, as we come onto this large keel section, we need a double chamfer on this plank. So I've just drawn this little outline just to represent the plank. And obviously normally you taper on the planking pretty much both going in the same direction, but this one is slightly different, and we need to taper it. Obviously remove this material like we would do normally, and then normally you'd taper it that way and remove that material. But because this one's going against the keel section, you need to taper it or chamfer it, kind of both going in the same direction, and that's so it's just going to sit nice against this keel timber. It's pretty much chamfer it one way and then turn it over and chamfer it the other way. So there's lots of different ways to taper these planks, but what I've been doing recently is obviously just fitting the little mini lathe, a little drum sanding head, and then you can slightly angle this around about 5 degrees. And just slowly run it down using like a rake, because this is quite brutal. So just I have it on a really low, like 1000 grade sandpaper, and just pass it down. If you've got one of like the bigger ones that's set up with like an adjustable table fence, that's even better, because then you can adjust the fence to like 5 degrees down, so then you can like rest it on your piece and pass it along that way. But obviously it's still easy to do it freehand. So I'm just going to go and take this outside. I'm going to tape off a few planks and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've just double chamfered this first plank, and this now fits in a lot nicer to this keel timber. So in this case, like I've done before, I'm just going to pop some pencil marks on, pre-pin this, and then we can pin it into place. So I've just glued up the bulkhead. I'm just bringing in this first timber, and I want to make sure that I feed it in right at the bottom at the correct angle. Because I can't get the hammer in, I'm just using the pin pusher on this section. Let's do the second one. Make sure I'm forcing this chamfer down into the bulkhead. That one's a lot better. So I'm just adding the second plank exactly the same way. It's been chamfered exactly the same as the first one. This plank's just running between bulkhead number 5 and bulkhead number 10. So moving on to the next plank above, and this plank's been chamfered in the traditional way. And this plank runs between bulkhead number 1 and bulkhead number 4. So I'm going to mark this to length. And you can already see how much this little sliver plank is going to need, obviously, tapering. It tapers down to nothing. So I'm just going to glue up all the bulkheads, and then along the top of the first plank we fitted. Just pre-pin that ice in place. Let's hold that in place this time. So because when you get to the end of the planks, there's always a good chance you'll split them. I'm just going to force in a little bit of scrap, and I'll just force the two planks together on top of each other, and that'll hold it while the glue dries. So I'm just going to add one more plank between bulkhead number 4 and bulkhead number 9, and then we're just going to work on this tapered plank. So I've just glued in the next plank along, and that one obviously went between bulkhead number 4 and bulkhead number 8. And just so I can keep an equal gap for the next sliver plank, I'll just put some offcuts of scrap in, just so I can keep them all quite a universal space on these sections. So I'll just let this glue go off half an hour, and then I'll come back and we'll start working on this little sliver plank. So the glue's had a good half an hour to dry. Before we continue, I just want to point this out to you. And this can happen quite a lot when you're doing, obviously, planking, and it tends to be always on when you're doing these joints where the two planks meet. It's sometimes you can slightly lose half a mil. So bring that in. Notice this is pretty much the thickness of the taper that we're going to put in all the way. So I'll show you that either side. So from about there. We've kind of lost about half a mil. So I'm just going to bring this ruler across. I'm just going to line it up either side, and then you can see. You see that? You can just see where obviously that's hanging down half a mil either side. So what I'm going to do is just going to draw a little pencil line. I'd say it's quite difficult. I've got a camera directly in front of my face. Just draw a little pencil line. All I'm going to do is just take my craft knife. Like I say, I'll show you this, and I'll do it after, because I'm saying the camera's right in front of my face and it's a bit awkward. All I'm going to do now is just take the craft knife and just trim off the excess. So now when I just bring this little scrap piece of wood in, it fits all the way across in now. So now we're going to work on this sliver plank. And we're pretty much going to go from bulkhead 1 up to bulkhead 5. And at this end it's 3 mil, and at this end it's probably half a mil. So I was taking the plank, obviously taper, and just draw in the centre line, and then I'm going to go 1/2 mil either side of the centre line. And that's the roller. I'm actually going to turn it upside down because sometimes this anti-slip cork makes it so you can't get a very good measurement. Sorry, so you can't get a very good line. I'm just going to lay that onto the first line and take it pretty much all the way up to about 1 mil. Get the finger out of the way. Just turn it over. I'll just do the same on the other side. And what you do then, I've just done it on one side. Just take your craft knife. Just any first passes, all you do is just following your pencil line. Once you've scored it the first time round, and then the second time round's easy. Now the blade's got its own guide, so it'll just keep running down this score line you've made. So we've got this tapered plank. Just tapered. It's not going to fit first time, they never do. I just want to make sure that it looks like it's on the right lines. So all you need to do now is just keep repeatedly sanding it down the sides until it's tapered enough. It's just going to fit in this groove. So I'm going to take it back outside onto the little sander head I was using, taper it all back down, and then come back. So I just spent 5 minutes just tapering this plank on the mini drum sander, and then I just finished it off just with my block sander, just having the piece on the bench and then just working in that direction, just tapering it out, and then just kept trying it onto the model, and then taking a bit more off, and then obviously just keep repeating the process until I was happy. And then like I said, I just kept bringing it up to the model, just trying it, just sliding it in, see how it's going to fit, bringing it out, tapering some more off, and then adding a bit more in as well. Because this is such a tight fit, we don't need to pin this. Just glue up both sides of the deck. Like so, I'm going to put it in and I'm going to slide it along. And so last couple of 20mm, I'm just going to use the hammer. Like I say, I'm just going to go back and forward just with the hammer. It's going to start to swell up straight away with the glue. That's okay, it's going to make an incredibly tight fit. So on the tapering process, I just lost a little section, so I've just made a little bit more, just tapered it exactly the same way. I'm just going to fill up this gap. This time I'm just going to paint the glue around this section, because as soon as it put the glue into it, it swells up and you can't get the piece in. Okay, so that's the 5 sections of plank added for this section. So now it's time to start working on the sections of superstructure that came in this week's issue. And obviously we're going to bring back this part that we worked on in the last issue as well, because these sections go on make on this. Well, first off, it's just a case with this one, it's just a case we just join them two together. Well, the first thing I'll do, like I do every time, just going to key up the 2 surfaces that we're going to glue today. And that just takes off any high spots. So I'll just key these surfaces and I'll just mix up a little bit of 2 parts epoxy resin. I'm just going to want a nice bead just across both parts. And what I like to do, because obviously you've got a very good clamping surface, I like to turn the parts upside down and just bring 2 parts together and then just move them backwards and forwards. That's just going to spread the glue out. And kind of get your fingers, and you can feel that they're in the right, in the correct positions. You can tell your fingers whether one line, if there's more gap on one side. And when you're happy, just take a couple of these little mini clamps, and then just obviously any more adjustments, and that's that bit done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the window ledge out of the way, so obviously it doesn't smell my room out. Then we'll come back and work on this section. Okay, so our first section is dry, it's now time to work on this section. And these 2 parts that came in this week's issue, that's what we made last time. And these are designed to fit over top of each other like that. So what I'm going to do, we'll spend a little bit of time just making sure that these sections here is all nice and flush. So this time I'm just going to take my sanding block and I'm just going to apply some more pressure and I'm just going to sand this nice and smooth. Okay, so spend about 2 minutes just really smoothing this face off. And like you can run your finger across it now, can't feel any bumps at all. And I've also smoothed the faces of these sections as well. So now it's time to glue this part to this part. You know, we've got like a little gluing surface around this edge there, and we can apply a little bit of glue just around this bottom edge as well. So just mix up a little bit more epoxy resin, and now I'm just going to apply a little bit around this edge. And just a little bit on this bottom edge. Just bring these 2 parts together. Same again, you can just kind of feel to make sure they're equal. So then it's same again, this part. And this part has to be lined up centre. There's probably a 2 more gap either side. So you just need that at the centre of that. So we can rub some epoxy across his face. And then there's some along this, just along these bottom edges. and then just move it back and forwards. Just until you're happy position, and that can leave to dry 5 minutes. Well, that's all the parts glued up for this week's video. Like I say, we'll soon be getting to the stage where we're going to start filling these sections in. But like I said before, we've just completely covered a section that it told us to fill with putty. So like I say, there's a time and a place, and we're just not quite ready there yet. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and just remember to stay home and stay safe, and I'll see you all next time.